Hello, it's time for another episode of Discipleship Today. My name is Bob Benson. I pastor Christ Lutheran Church. We've been talking about discipleship. We've been looking at some verses, and I got another verse here today. We all remember that there was an argument that was going on between the disciples, and James and John had the audacity to go to Jesus and ask if one of them could sit on his right and one of them could sit on his left. And Jesus was so disappointed. They're looking for a ranking of discipleships. And this had come after Peter had gotten his new name. Simon had been named Peter. And everybody else is jockeying for positions. And it's really disappointing. Jesus is disappointed in the question. He asked him a couple questions in return. Can you drink of the cup that I drink of? And they didn't even know what he was saying. And they said, oh, yes, we can. And they did eventually, and he told them that they would. But we have to remember that Luke recorded in his epistle a conversation that Jesus has. And he's talking about, can a blind man lead a blind man? Won't they both fall into a pit? We don't have the blind leading the blind. And then he says this in verse 40, chapter 6, verse 40. A disciple is not above his teacher. But everyone, when he is fully trained, will be like his teacher. And really, that's the measuring stick for disciples. Do they look and act like Jesus? What are we discipling to? We have to keep asking ourselves that question. We want to be more and more like Jesus. And we can only do that when we're saturated in the Word, when we're saturated with prayer, when we really pour ourselves into being like Jesus in his words and works. That's the key for us. Let's try and be more like Jesus every day. So for Discipleship Today, my name is Bob Benson. Thank you for taking the time to watch.